Hey everyone, in this video we are going to learn about notebooks in Copilot. Notebooks allows you to create a unique space for your own project work, which allows you to add these bunch of different types of file format, be it a document or a PDF file or an Excel file, or it could be even an external link as well. And once you have all of these assets added, you can ask questions into that notebook area, and the responses is not going to be cross contaminated from anywhere else. The responses is going to be only from these sources which you have added within that container. Additionally, this allows you to create a podcast as well. When you try to create a podcast, you can choose how you want to listen to that audio file, be it in a narrative fashion or a dialogue format. You can choose between different style and the duration, things like that. And the cool thing is that you can download that in your OneDrive and listen whenever you feel like. So in this demo, we're going to walk through a step-by-step process on how you can create a brand new notebook, create an audio file, add a different types of knowledge sources, ask different questions to showcase you the power of notebook. I hope you're going to enjoy this video. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Now let's go and first understand how you can create a new notebook. I'm signed into my Copilot app. You can go to m365.cloud.microsoft.com or use the Copilot app to sign in. Make sure you sign in with your organization's username and password. On the left hand rail, just under the pages, you can see there is an option called Notebooks. Click on that. So if you haven't created any notebooks or not using it, you won't be able to see any notebooks here. In that case, you can immediately click on this new notebook, or right at the top right hand corner, you can see there is a new notebook creation section as well. So click on either one of those. That allows you to give a name for your notebook. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a notebook for a new project called Retail Store Reboot. So I have few documents here. So you can see there is a retail store reboot of the future, which has some information here. We are going to use these bunch of assets like Word file, the PowerPoint file, a PDF document, an Excel sheet, a page, a link, and all of that, and put together in this notebook folder so that you can ask questions and get meaningful extraction out of that to help you with your project. First and foremost, I'm going to name this notebook. I'm going to call this as Retail Store of the Future because I'm working on a project to revamp my retail stores. I'm collating all the information to rebrand it. So I'm going to call this project space or the notebook as Retail Store of the Future. Once you give the name, you can immediately upload the files here. You can see that some recent files will be shown here. So you can pick that up, or you can search for content within your M365 graph. If you don't have the files within your cloud, you can upload it directly from your device. We will look into this functionality later, that is linking a website, or you can go to your OneDrive and upload the file as well. So you have multiple options. So right now I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to click on create. I'll show you that later. If you come to the bottom of the screen, either you can drag and upload the files as well. And this kind of shows the type of files which it supports. Right now it is document, PDF, Excel files, PDF, links, and more. So I'm going to click on create. So when you click on create, you can see there is a space created for you. So it's called the name you have given, Retail Store of the Future. Then we have an option for audio overview, things like that. So we'll come back to that later. Now it is an empty space. First, let's go and add a content. I'm going to click on add references. You can find that at the bottom of the prompt window. Click on that. That opens the same space, like kind of like the same space like what we have seen just before. So I'm going to first add the file which our project team is developing, which is the retail reboot store concept overview. So if I click on that, it will show the thumbnail. Click on add. Now you can see that under references, there is a new file added into my notebook. You can either remove it or you can click on open that to view that file as it is. When I click on open, you can see this particular report have a lot of information about a customer journey, scenario of a different personas who come into the store, some implementation roadmap, and things like that. That's quite good. So if I want to use this, I can go to Notebook. I have added this. Now, because I have this particular thing added into my notebook space, first and foremost, I just want to show you this cool little functionality called Get an Audio Overview, or like a podcast feature. So click on Audio Overview. This first allows you to customize how you would like to listen to your audio. By default, I have chosen to use the dialogue narration, style as casual, and the duration as medium. If you want to modify any of it, it's super simple. All you have to do is change the tone. I'm gonna make it like super short and click on generate an audio. You can see it is generating the audio. Depending on the amount of content you have in your notebook, it can take up to a minute or two to generate files. So whenever you add a new content, I always encourage you to create a new audio file to reflect that content into the audio format. At the bottom of the screen,
Taking a look at Retail Reboot, Store of the Future, which
I'm going to
came from the Retail
pause.
Innovation Strategy team.
All right, so once the audio is generated, you can see this particular layout open in your notebook itself. This allows you to do few things. One, obviously, it allows you to play and pause the video. You can skip backwards and skip forward, or you can change the speed of the delivery as well. If you want to listen to a faster pace, you can change that, or in a slower pace as well. And one other cool feature I want to introduce is when you click on this ellipsis, this allows you to save this audio file in your OneDrive. So you don't have to necessarily use this app all the time to listen to the podcast. You can click on save it in your OneDrive and go to your OneDrive and listen to the audio file. So now let me quickly show you how it sounds like. Because we chose to use a dialogue format, it will be two individuals talking in a casual format. It's quite cool. So click on play.
Yep, this one's all about, well, how retail is kind of evolving, right? The document really zooms in on using like cutting edge tech to totally change how we shop.
Exactly. And it throws out things like smart shelves, AR mirrors, and even cashierless checkouts.
So let me go and pause the
All this is
audio.
there to
You would
make
have listened to it. So now instead of me reading through the entire content, the same content is being converted as a podcast fashion. This is quite easy to digest because I customized on how I like to listen to that content. Awesome. And while multitasking, you can always catch up on the content what you have added into the notebook. It's pretty amazing stuff. So that's the podcast feature. So go ahead and play around with it. Now let me quickly show you where you can find it in your OneDrive. So make sure you remember the name of the file it is generated. So in my case, the audio file is generated as Retail Store of the Future. I'm just going to quickly copy the name. And when you go to your OneDrive, just make sure you go to the search box at the top, and I'm going to search for Retail Store of the Future. Hit enter. Immediately you can see there is a audio file which has been modified 4 minutes ago. That is the file which we have saved. So if I click on that file,
Hey, welcome everyone.
you can listen to the same
And
file
it throws out
Yeah, and honestly, it's important because like the way
however you want. So you can pretty much download to your phone and you can listen to it while you're multitasking as well. So that's the podcast feature. So first what we have learned is how to add a particular file for a particular project and create as a podcast. The second thing what you could do is now you can come into this prompt window and you can ask questions. So when you ask questions here, it is not going to cross contaminate with any other information from the internet, any other information from your internal Microsoft Graph. It is going to only look into the sources what you have attached here. So now I have this file. I can go ahead and ask a question. Like here I'm asking, can you summarize the key goals, technologies, and customer experience improvement described in the concept overview document? So when I ask this question, it's going to look everywhere else. It is going to only look into the reference file we attached. So I can have an interaction dialogue with this notebook, which is going to extract the information from that document. So I don't have to necessarily go and read the entire document as it is. So if I ask a question here, I'm going to get an exact answer pulled in from that document. How do I know? If I click on sources, you can see that the only source to get the response is from that source we attach. That is the retail reboot store concept overview document. So that is the response. That is quite good. Now let's go ahead and add other references, because I told you about like you have an ability to add different types of reference document into this. So this time I'm going to add another reference document. Let's add the customer journey mapping retail reboot. So that's a PowerPoint. So click on add. So if I go to this PowerPoint, I'll show you how it looks like. It has some customer journey, store information, it has bunch of picture, a different layout for the store, design and stuff like that. There are a lot of information about a futuristic store and how it looks like. Compared to the Word document, this is slightly different. This one have an executive summary and the risk and the implementation roadmap. This one has a customer journey information. So now my notebook is getting richer and richer. Now I have added new set of information, one with customer journey, another one with a concept overview. And this allows me to add other content as well. So I'm going to add one more reference. This time, let's go and add a store rollout plan. So click on that and add. As you can see, that's an Excel file. Let me quickly show you what that Excel file hold. This Excel file include information about some of the store location, when we are going to launch it, who is the lead for the project, and when it is going to be ready, things like that. So it has a rich set of information by itself. Now if I go back to the notebook, you can see that I have few other information apart from the concept overview. Now let's go and ask some question. It is going to pull in information from relevant documents as appropriate. The first question I'm going to ask is, what's the plan for the store rollout and which site is going to launch first? I'm sure that information was not available in the first document we uploaded. That is the document here. But the store rollout plan might have that detail about that. So let's go and ask and see if it is pulling from that Excel sheet. All right. So looks like we got a new response. And the response says that the new rollout plan suggests the first store launch is going to happen in Buffalo, Northeast, and the launch date is on 15th November 2025. And other early launches, even though we didn't ask, it is giving us some good responses so that I can be on top of when that is happening. To make sure it is cross-referencing the right file, you can always click on the sources. It is pulling from the right file. And based on the status ready, the first store which is going to launch is the Buffalo Northwest. So instead of me looking into the data, the notebook was able to quickly identify the information is available in the Excel sheet rather than the PDF or the Word document, and it quickly pulled that data from that Excel sheet. That's how you can add different types of files, and based on your question, notebook is going to appropriately pick up the right information from the right file. Now if I slightly tweak the question, the first question I asked is summarize the key goals from the concept overview. This time I've added customer journey mapping as well. So let's see if we get a quick summary combining both the PowerPoint and the Word document. All right, we are getting a response. Just to make sure if we are getting the response from both, if I click on the sources, you can see that the sources it used, the citation is from two different documents. Now let's go ahead and add other type of files. This time I'm going to add another reference file. So I have a PDF file, and this time I've added the customer feedback store for the future, and that include this customer feedback about some positive experiences, some challenges and things like that. And now if I go ahead and ask a question from the customer feedback summary, extract the top 3 positive themes and 3 negative themes. This time when you look at the response, it is going to be picked from the right document, and it is going to be very relevant to the customer feedback from that particular document. So we got top 3 positive theme, negative theme. If you look at the document, it is pulling from that PDF file we just now uploaded. So it is pretty fast. So immediately you're getting value. So I just now uploaded the document, and when you ask a question, it is going to immediately pull the data from that particular PDF file. And one more thing which I've forgotten to mention in the beginning is the instruction set. So Notebook allows you to add instructions as well. So just below the name or right above the prompt box, you have an option called add Copilot instructions. When you click on that, you can tell Copilot how to respond. So whenever you ask question, you would have seen whenever I ask a question, Copilot has been responding to in its own way. But if you want, for example, to respond in a bullet points or tailor the information to a specific need, you can mention that here. So I'm going to mention here. All right, so I'm adding instructions like always respond in bullet points and table format and keep it professional and friendly. You can basically provide instruction of whatever sort you like. So I'm going to quickly click on save. Now if I go back and ask one of the question we asked before, in the beginning we asked it to summarize the information. So I'm going to quickly ask one more time to summarize the key goals, technologies, and summarize the instruction for us. This time, if you notice, the output it's going to be either a combination of table format and bullet points. You can see that it's clearly different to the output we have received in the past. To see the output of your previous conversation, you can always go back to your notebook, click on notebooks, select the notebook, and right next to references you can see there is chats. So click on chats. This allows you to go back in time to all the previous conversation you had. This is the same question we asked. Let's click on the first question we asked to summarize the key goals and technologies. So you can see the same question, but the response was totally different to the response which we just now got after adding the instruction. All right, so see if you can incorporate instructions as well if you like to receive the information in a tailored format. So if I go to a new conversation, the next thing it allows you to do is when you click on add references, you can add pages. So pages is nothing but is something which you can create out of your conversation. So if I go to a chat and I'm going to ask a question, do a research on technology integration brief for the store of the future and include the concepts like overview of IoT, AI technology, how each technology enhance, and these sort of topics. And if I ask a question to the regular chat, it is going to pull that information from internet because I asked it to do a research and give me a finding. So it is going to pull all these information about like how a future technical store should look like, blah blah blah. That's not the important thing. So once you have the response, you can click on this, you can go to the bottom of the response and you can click on edit in pages. So when you do that, the same response is going to be extracted into this new canvas. Now you can edit it, you can add your own content and things like that. So I'm going to quickly modify it. So I have this information here. That's a new research I have done. So I can click on share and click on page link. So that's a new asset. It's a page asset. It's not a document. It's not a PowerPoint. It's like a loop page which has a lot of information. And I can go back to my notebook. Let's exit out of this. Go to notebooks. Find the notebook we were working on. So we already have like these 4 content. And I can click on add a reference. And I can click on either search or I can click on, let's find out what is the page we created. So if you go under page, you can see it's called technology integration. That's the name of the page. So I'm going to copy that page, go to your notebooks and click on add a reference and search for technology store for the future. So you can find that pages over here. So click on add and add that into your asset as well. So now you have one more type, a different type of asset within your project library. So I'm not saying that all the asset has to be different, but I'm just showing you the possibility that it can be multiple types of files. It can be a PDF, an Excel file, a document, or a page as well. When you add that, this is all going to be part of your project workbook. So any question you ask, it is going to pick the right one, or sometimes it is going to pick a combination of multiple files as well. Another type of information you can add is a link. So when you come here, there is an option called add a link. So sometimes when you are doing a research, you want to pull in information from external sources as well, like internet, not just the large language model. So let's go and find a site. I'm going to do a quick search. So I'm going to ask, what are the latest retail store future ideas in 2025? And hit enter. That's going to give you a bunch of article. Let's pick one of it. Okay, I'm going to pick this 10 retail trends. It's a white paper. All right, so this particular page has a lot of information about 10 future trends that will shape the future of retail chain. That's not the important here. I'm just going to copy this link, go back to the notebook, and this time click on the add a link. And here I can add a URL and external. So I'm going to add external research from TCS because that particular white paper is from TCS, I guess, and click on OK. Now to bring it home, what I can do is like now we have a bunch of assets here, external data, pages, some PDF, Excel file, PowerPoint. I'm going to ask a question here. Help me draft a short internal communication message for frontline staff explaining the store of the future changes, what support they will receive and how it will benefit them. And I'm adding one more line. Use all the reference document to come up with a report. So now this time that internal communication message should include different information from that all the reference file we have attached. So you can see it is addressing to a team. It has some body of message and things like that. And the report is from different sources. So if I go to the bottom of the asset, you can see that it used all of that assets and it has citations on when it is used and which part of the body it is used. So that's how you can create a quick project space or a research space, or you can call whatever you want. It's like a space, a container for you to collate a bunch of information for a specific task. When you do that, it allows you to add content. It could be internal content, external content, a reference file, or like an external site. And this allows you to create an audio overview as well. So now, because I've added all of these content, now if I click on get an audio overview, if I click on narration and create a short audio overview, this time it is going to have a new audio file which include the content from all of these assets we have included, not just the first file we have included. I haven't talked about the dictation option. It's quite
Good morning.
straightforward.
I'm Ava, and today I'll be
Let
talking
me
you through the
quickly pause the
retail
audio.
reboot store of
So when you click on this dictation, this allows you to talk to this notebook, and when you allow the microphone, this allows you to put the information into the prompt box just like how you're seeing right now. Rather than you typing all the prompt, you can talk to this notebook, and once you finish, you can hit on this enter. That is going to send that information as a prompt. So that's, instead of typing it, you can use as a dictation. So that's a quick overview on what is Notebook. I hope you're going to use this and find a real use case within your workflow to get benefit out of it. I will see you in the next one. Take care.